So we're back home after our trip, settled in all day yesterday, work day today, and now we're about ready to review the very bottle that was part of the airport adventure on Saturday. We're going to review Chattanooga Whiskey Straight Bourbon Whiskey, cask strength, 111 proof at Tennessee High Malt. Now, there's a lot of things to mention about this bottle, but I'll start with that last comment I made. Tennessee High Malt. What it does not say on this bottle is a Tennessee whiskey, such as a Jack Daniels. It says a bourbon. Now, this is from Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tennessee. So this is not officially called a Tennessee whiskey. Whether it goes through the Lincoln County process, I'm not sure. I did not see that, but I am going to do some further research, but I did a little bit already. So Tennessee High Malt, there's a pretty high malt content, which we'll get to in a second. But again, just to talk about this, I've never had Chattanooga whiskey before. I don't even see it by me. I think I've seen it just one time in a Total Wine, and I don't think that was even here. I think it was in Florida. And certainly not a variety. Now, this was a store, I mentioned in a previous video, it was a store in the Nashville International Airport that just had Tennessee whiskey, and I mean the term figuratively and literally, Tennessee whiskey such as Jack Daniels, and just whiskeys made in Kentucky. And this is one of them. And they had the whole line of them. So I was kind of confused what to get. Never had anything. There's, of course, the flagship. I think it's the 91 proof. It looked like it was rated really good, but I just thought the proof was a little low. Then there was a bunch of others. It was a bottle of bombers looked very good, but I was like, you know what? Let me get a higher proof version of this signature one, and that's this. So this is 111 proof cask strength. It is the cask strength version of their signature 91 proof, and it looks like it's a winner, but we'll be able to tell in a minute. So it is a Tennessee High Malt because the mash bill in this is 75% yellow corn, and then it's 25% malt. Just says 25% malt, and of that malt, there is some combination, but not disclosed, exact percentages. But of that 25% malt, you have malted rye, you have caramel malted barley, and honey malted barley. That sounds like that's going to be delicious. Very, very full disclosure bottle. It says a batch number on here, 25706R. It says a barrel lot number, 220202. And it does say that's 6 to 10 barrels. So it's basically called a unfiltered single batch, not single barrel, single batch. And that batch apparently is 6 to 10 barrels. So that is it's also a small batch, but doesn't say that on there. The age is interesting. It says 2+ years. Now, you think 2 years, you're thinking like a Texas whiskey, which is not. The climate this is Tennessee. It's warm. It's not quite Texas, but it says 2+ years. So we're going to see if it tastes young or not. But the mash bill is fascinating. And apparently it's a single fermentation, extended 7 days. It does mention that on there. Now, it says also on here, it says aged in toasted and charred 53-gallon barrels. I love it. It doesn't classify itself as a toasted bourbon, but apparently it has the toasted and charred barrel influence. And there's no filtration. It does mention in here that the bottles may have some barrel sentiment in there, so unfiltered. Sounds great. Let's get it in a glass and see what I've been missing. All right, let's get this baby cracked open. Nice. And in the spirit of Tennessee, we're going to use this tasting glass from a Jack Daniels tasting I did on the cruise ship a couple of years ago. It's actually pretty good for this. It's very, very narrow, even narrower than a Glencairn, just narrow all the way around. So this should work. So really nice color on that. Let's give this a nose. That's interesting. I am getting kind of a malt. It's a different smell, kind of malt. It's interesting also, as I mentioned, you would consider this in a sense 2 components of the mash bill, even though that malt, it does say malted rye in there. So I still would kind of call it 3, even though they kind of label it as 2 because there is some rye snuck in there. I just don't know how much, but the key thing is there's a lot of malt in here, and I am getting that on the nose. Okay, let's give it a taste. Cheers. Well, that is interesting. That is different. It's different in a good way. It's a really nice finish. Feels good going down. The 25% malt really does shine. Picking out the portions of that malt is kind of difficult. But you're getting a little components. If you took an American single malt 100%, it's quite obviously not that, but It's you figure it's a quarter of that in the sense of the malt components. It's different tasting in a really nice way. I am getting the corn off this. I'm also getting I don't know if I would say the caramel is shining, a little toffee caramel. I'm getting honey too from the honey malted barley. So I would say, although the minority of the mash bill, that 25% of the malt components of those three, the rye, the malted barley, and the caramel malted barley and the honey malted barley, each three of them are shining here. So I think it's good that I did get the 111 proof. I kind of think this, I'm not sure how much I would have liked the 91 proof. A little bit more proof on this is really good. They had something that I was very tempted to get, but kind of wanted to start here. They had something finished, I think it was in maple syrup casks, probably the most expensive of the bottles. And I said, well, maybe I'll just start here because I'm not sure if I'm going to like the profile, but at the same time, I thought the 91 was a little bit low. And also, just a side note, what was the adventure that, of course, I mentioned in the previous video when I got home was the fact that this got double checked. This was purchased when we were through security. Since the flight was canceled on United, I had to go back out to baggage claim, tell the people about the bags have to go from United to Delta, then go back in. And this thing was now in my bag going through security a second time. I had to explain this. This was wrapped in so much wrapping from the store originally and from TSA that, it's pretty clear I couldn't drink this until I got home. But it is here, and I think it was worth the hassle. Again, Chattanooga whiskey is something I've never had. Don't see it near me, at least not stores by me. This is good. I'd probably have to get a little more into this. Would I be curious on this enough to try one of the others? If I was going to do that, it probably would be the maple syrup cask or whatever that was. The bottles of bond look interesting, but I think at this point, I would only go lower in proof on this if it was something different like that. I don't know if I would do the bottle of bond, but I'm happy I got this one. Really going to get into it. Love the transparency. Does it taste 2 years old? No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. But it definitely is flavorful, and I'm not sorry I got it, and we'll get more into it and see how my opinion changes. Cheers.